Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for showing up. Whether you're here for web wisdom or just because you clicked the wrong link and you're now trapped, don't worry, I'll make it worth your time. So let's play a game. Raise your hand if you've heard of WordPress. Yeah, I know I can't actually see you, but I'm just going to imagine a small forest of hands in the air. Now keep your hand raised if you've ever tried to build a WordPress site and thought, wait, why is my homepage suddenly blank? Yeah, the classic WordPress experience. Today, we're asking the big question. Should you consider using WordPress in 2025 or 2026, or is it time to move on and find something shinier, fancier, and maybe a little less likely to crash because you installed 17 plugins at once? Grab your coffee, your tea, your emotional support animal, whatever you need. Let's dive in. Alright, so let me push myself a little bit in the camera right now. Well, the first question that we have, what even is WordPress? Of course, that's the most questions that people ask. So first off, WordPress isn't just a thing your cousin uses for her blog about cats. It's a massive open source platform that powers like a third of the internet. Seriously, if the internet were a pizza, WordPress would be the crust holding everything together. And sometimes the cheese too. Yeah, it's free, endlessly customizable, and of course, there's a plugin for everything. Want a contact form? There's a plugin. Want to run your site into an online store? Plugin. Want your site to play Never Gonna Give You Up every time someone clicks a link? Probably a plugin, though maybe don't do that. The reason why WordPress is still kicking, it's because, real talk, why do people keep coming back to WordPress? That's the question. It's like that comfy pair of shoes or that friend who always helps you move house, even though you said you only had a few things and it turns out you have a secret collection of bowling balls. Just like that. And then WordPress wins because it's free. Unless you go wild with premium themes or plugins. You can build pretty much anything actually. Like blog, business site, shop, portfolio, fan page, or even your a fan page for your pet iguana or a monkey. That's an absolutely enormous community. If you Google a WordPress problem, you'll find 500 answers and at least 100 memes about why it broke in the first place. I once broke my WordPress site by changing one tiny thing. Suddenly, everything was Comic Sans. How sad. But I'm still recovering. You know, guys, the reason why WordPress is good because of its changes. So what changed for 2025 or 26? Okay, let's get futuristic. WordPress in 2025 or 26 has leveled up, to be honest. It's like the Pokemon of website builders. Constantly evolving, occasionally yelling at you to update your plugins. Like that. When it comes to security, WordPress is safer than ever. But of course, hackers still love it. Keep things updated or risk your site getting taken over by a guy named John selling knockoff sunglasses. And when it comes to performance, hosting is faster, plugins are smarter, and your site can load quicker than I can finish a slice of pizza. WordPress is slightly drag and drop when you will use like a page builder. So platforms like Wix, Squarespace, and Webflow are the cool kids on the block. You don't need to know code, just how to drag things around like you're playing Tetris. There's also AI tools. So WordPress plugins can write your blog posts, optimize your SEO, and maybe one day even do your laundry. Not yet, but we can dream, of course. So when it comes to mobile and accessibility, sites needs to look good on phones. Tablet, fridges, yes. Fridges have screens now. WordPress is keeping up. If you've ever spent 8 hours trying to fix your mobile menu, you're not alone. Solidarity, my friends. So the next question, should you use WordPress? Here's the deal. WordPress is great if you like control, flexibility, and a little bit of adventure. If you want to build a blog, launch a business, or start an online store for your homepage, glitter socks, WordPress is your jam. To be honest, you'll need to learn a few things like how to update plugins, avoid sketchy themes, and occasionally yell at your computer. Like, for example, why is this button green now? Something like that. You might wonder why. So, the next question that we have here is who should run away lovingly from WordPress? If you want something super easy and hands off, WordPress might feel like too much work. Maybe you want to build your site in an hour and then never think about it again. Wix, Squarespace, and Webflow are like those super organized friends who pack snacks for every tip. No stress, just results. You know what? I want to share a true story here. A friend of mine tried WordPress, spent 3 days looking for the make it pretty button, gave up, and is now living happily after with Squarespace. That's a fact. So, WordPress versus the world, I could say, if we can compare them quickly, WordPress is like a Swiss Army knife. Powerful, but sometimes you poke yourself if you're not careful. While Wix or Squarespace, like, IKEA furniture. Easy, fast, looks good, but don't ask for too many customization. And when it comes to Webflow, it's like a 3D printer. Amazing for designers, but you might need a manual and a YouTube tutorial marathon. So, how many plugins do you think are too many? 5, 20, or 100? Let me know in the comments if you've ever crashed a site with plugin overload. So, let's talk about future trends or the crystal ball section. Here's what's coming. AI powered site building. Soon you'll just describe your dream site. We want a purple unicorn shop with dancing buttons, something like that. And AI will build it for you. There's what we call headless CMS, a fancy term for separating your content from the design. More speed, more security, more confusion for beginners, of course. So, the best approach is the mobile first everything. If your site doesn't look good on a phone, your audience will bounce faster than I do when someone mentions diet. So when it comes to privacy and security as well, there are a lot of rules. More pop-ups, more accept cookies buttons than you ever wanted. If you see a cookie pop-up on my site, just know I tried to make it less annoying. But the law won. How do you decide? Ask yourself, do I want total control or just something easy? Am I willing to learn or do I want no homework? Will my site need to grow or is it just a digital business card? Do I want to own my data or am I okay trusting the cloud? Feel free to shout out your answer in the comments. Bonus points for yes or no. And I have no idea. Please help. Those 3. So, my suggestion if you get started with WordPress, if you dare, if you're ready to jump, pick a good hosting provider. Not the cheapest. Trust me. One-click install WordPress. Grab a theme. Don't pick the one with, Comic Sans unless you're feeling brave. Install plugins for security, SEO, and whatever else you fancy. Set up backups, of course, because one day you'll need them. Trust me. Start creating. And the biggest tip or pro tip, don't install a plugin just because it has a cute icon. That's how you end up with a site that moves every time you get a comment. Just want to be honest. So, few mistakes to avoid here is, this is just a quick warning list. Don't install all the plugins. Update everything. Or risk getting hacked by Vlad, the sunglasses guy, or John. Use strong passwords, of course. Password 123 is not strong. Even you add an exclamation mark. Back up your site. Seriously, I've learned this the hard way. If you've ever broken your site, tell the story in the comments, of course. We're here to support each other. And maybe laugh a little too. So for the final thoughts here, or the big finish, so is WordPress still worth it in 2025 or 26? Absolutely. If you want flexibility, power, and a little bit of chaos, if you want easy, check out the new kids on the block. Either way, you've got options, and hey, if all else fails, there's always career pigeons. Not recommended for web traffic, but you do you. I want to hear from you. Are you pro WordPress, or have you moved on to Wix, Squarespace, or something totally different? Drop your thoughts. Horror stories, plugins, recommendations, whatever, in the comments. If you had fun, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a laugh or a website, of course. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.